Hi, I'm Rachel.
Hi, I'm Charlie. So I went on OkCupid because they had an article about having slightly different gender options, so you didn't have to pick male or female. I wasn't really going to ever find someone that way, so I went online just to have a look, and I was chatting to some people, and then this random person started calling and talking to me. Basically, it was just hilarious, and I just stopped talking to anyone else.
I was on OkCupid for ages, and there was so many dodgy people. And then I started talking to Charlie, and I really liked the pictures, and he was really funny. So we met at a train station, and I saw him come through the gates, and I was like, oh, yeah, that's hot stuff. We ended up going to a cafe. I was pretty shy, so I didn't talk much, and so Charlie did all the talking, which was awesome, and now our roles have reversed. I was so comfortable, like about an hour in, it was just like we were long-term friends. It was pretty unique. I hadn't ever experienced that before.
Yeah, it was weird because when we were chatting online, I usually don't really connect that well with people on those sorts of websites, but it just flowed so easily. And
I remember wearing your jacket on the way home and smiling the whole way home. It just felt so perfect, and I'd never felt that way before. He identified as a she then, and then throughout our relationship it's kind of changed, and now yeah, he's a he slowly.
So I came out as being attracted to females when I was 27, so I was quite late. So I came out and didn't really fit in with the gay women community. Never really identified with the word lesbian, and everything became pink, everything became ladies' night, and it didn't quite work. And my best mate is a trans guy also, and so I've kind of had the benefit of living in this area and being close to other people who are queer and involved in these communities to sort of provide a safe space, and where I kind of came to terms with why I hated being gendered. So female, I was able to book in for top surgery, and after I booked in for top surgery, because most people have top surgery after going on testosterone, I felt comfortable that I could then start taking testosterone.
Initially it was the transition. I thought it was going to be easy, and I thought that it was going to be the same really at the start and just involve surgery and injections, and that was all it was going to be. It ended up being hard for me because after all the fuss was over, and after all the injections were over, and after the operation was over, I suddenly was able to think about myself, and I suddenly had to start thinking about who am I and what does this mean for me, and now I'm going to be walking down the street with a man and not a woman. How does that feel? And it was hard. It was really hard. It was like coming out again.
I do know some trans guys who have been in relationships where their partners have potentially held them back for a while because, you know, transitioning can mean the end of a relationship, and that is really tough. You know, you do need to stay true to yourself, but you also, I guess, as I said before, just take things as the course, but try not to make those decisions based on other people. So we've always been able to be really open with each other, and I think we have very similar communication styles.
We're open about everything.
Yeah, which is difficult sometimes because it means you're quite vulnerable.
I think it can be difficult sometimes to hear what the other person's communicating. Sometimes it can be emotional or difficult, but it's still great to hear it.
With the transition being something that's been key in our relationship in the last year, it's important not for it to always be on my feelings about that. There's some feelings that Rachel will have and has had that are difficult to say because that would then reflect on me, but I need to let her have those feelings and just let them have a space and talk about them, even though that's hard for me and can have consequences for me and making me a little anxious or worried, but you need to have a space for that.
Now, although I identify still as a lesbian, the community can sometimes feel that, I guess clinically, I'm queer. but I choose to hold on to my identity. I've communicated that with Charlie, and he's continued to be happy with my identity. I'm a lesbian with a trans man.
Yeah, and that works for me as well. Part of transitioning was obviously gaining an identity, but my identity and being true to myself, but then losing my visibility. I definitely don't want to lose the rainbow part of our relationship. I mean, that is who we are.
If it feels right, then that's what's important.
Yeah.
And you don't have to be what other people want you to be. Just be happy and love what you like and love yourself.
Yeah.
We're our little niche, and that's okay. We're happy.
Yeah.
And that's what's important.
That's a bit gooey, isn't it?